of Sith podcast. My name is Lee, and today I'm joined by Denise.
Hello, everybody.
And Mary.
Hello, everyone.
So today we're going to be talking about the release of the trailer for Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Did everybody love it?
Yay! I love it. It's beautiful. Yay!
We're super excited to talk about it. I'm guessing you guys, like me, have seen it a whole bunch of times. But of course, every time we see it, we notice new things about it. So we're going to discuss it in detail.
I haven't seen it because I've been busy with work, unfortunately.
Aww.
But I have seen it, but only like a couple of times.
Only like 7 times, not 15 times.
Not 700. But oh my god, let me just say, I'm sorry for interrupting, but let me just say, I wanted to cry with happiness when I saw it.
Aww.
Yeah, I loved it. I was really happy and also very hopeful. And I loved how it integrated, things from the OT, the PT. It's like everything was well represented there. But we'll get more into that in a bit, into what we loved about it. We're going to talk also about how reylotastic it was, you guys.
Super Reylo,
God.
Super Reylo, I love it. So why don't we begin by, do you guys want to start by talking about, in general, what you loved about it, and then we can get into the breakdown?
Well, what else would we love about it? The reylotastic stuff.
Yeah, in general, I think it was very positive. It sets up something that's positive, hopeful, and it definitely sets Reylo up very clearly. So it's no longer the mystery box. Thank goodness, it was past time, and so we can look forward to see more of it in the movies.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we said in the previous episode, I think Lucasfilm have learnt from their terrible, well, I wouldn't call it terrible, but their misjudgment of the marketing for the previous 2 films and how they tried to keep everything a mystery and misdirect everyone, and it just backfired on them completely, I think. So, and this is just, well, this seems to be they just show it as they're gonna tell it. I mean, I was all prepared for the evil Supreme Leader Kylo Ren hunting down Rey, and I didn't get that. Instead, what I got was 2 characters who are probably going to come to a massive understanding of each other, and of course they already understand each other somewhat, and I just got a really hopeful feeling.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mary. You know what? I think JJ is still going to hang on to his mysteries. He's JJ, but he's definitely surprised me by including some shots in there that I was just like, wow, like they're giving us this much, like the shot of Kylo and Rey fighting something together. We'll get into what that could be later. But that shot of them working together and their dialogue, it's like, for me, what that tells me is that it's established that we're going to get the Reylo romantic dynamic, and that they are going to collaborate, again. So the twists aren't in that relationship necessarily, but, more in other aspects of the story. So that's safe to share because we we knew that was going to happen, right? But I really like how they were just open about it, but not too obvious to the point that people who choose to be in denial, they can still be in denial about it if they want.
Well, they're still going to be in denial.
Yeah, forever. But anyway, it was, it was beautifully shot. I thought the music was spectacular. And that's one thing that I was really looking forward to seeing, because I felt that even though I've loved the music of TLJ and TFA, I really was wanting that kind of epicness. And I thought that this trailer definitely brought that in. And it was one of the things that made me emotional watching the trailer, was just how beautiful the music was. And those gorgeous shots, and just recognizing things from each of the previous trilogies. I just thought they did a really good job of kind of bringing it all together, and it sparked a frenzy. People are super excited about it now, and you can see that in how within 1 hour of the trailer premiering, they had broken records, even of the Avengers Endgame. That's amazing.
But even before, the tickets started selling actually before the trailer, even though they shouldn't, but they started selling before, and the tickets were crashing. Just one off-topic comment. I just want to look into the Revenge of the Sith trailer just to notice the difference in tone. because this is not a tragedy, and it's hilarious. If you have some time, go and look at it, because Revenge of the Sith is a freaking plot summary. The whole movie is in there, the entire movie. So it just shows that you don't necessarily need the surprise. Of course, don't do like Revenge of the Sith. Don't put the whole freaking movie in the trailer.
But again, with Revenge of the Sith, we knew that Anakin was going to become Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. We didn't know how exactly, but we knew.
Yeah, but it's a different tone now. But we have a lot. We have a lot more. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'll just want to say, like the tone of the Revenge of the Sith trailer was all, horror and tragedy. But this is just, to me, it's like I said before, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, it's hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love that about it. It's generally very positive, very hopeful, and I really love to see Rey, and how heroic she looked, and how what a difference. It's like, wow.
I want to comment on that when we go scene by scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Let's go into the breakdown of the trailer itself. Yes. So we start off with Rey, actually, and the speculation, when you look at the environment that she's in, it looks like obviously like a forest planet, and there's speculation that she could actually be on Endor. Have you guys heard that?
I heard that, and I also heard another planet. Now I forgot the name of the other planet that there was in a Monopoly set that leaked. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It could be Endor, because the ruins and stuff, and it could be this other planet. But the what I liked about the helmet is that she had that helmet before, so in a way it's like she's leaving that behind, right? A little bit of her identity and stuff. I think symbolically it connects with TFA.
I think it also connects with A New Hope. You could argue that while Luke was training, Rey is kind of rejecting the normal Jedi training that Luke went through. Mm-hmm, I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of the OT, and there's a really cool theory out there that if you notice those shots of like Rey running quickly, there are shots there that might later on be interposed with shots of Leia as a young woman actually training with Luke. That the theory is that...
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Wouldn't that be amazing? The theory is that we are going to get to see young Luke and Leia in certain shots, and that it's going to run parallel to the storyline of Rey's training with Leia. And that's something that had been shared in leaks before, right? So, and we saw how Leia, Carrie Fisher, got top billing compared to other movies. So definitely she's going to have a stronger presence here. And it would be amazing if they could do that. And we would get to see, events in the aftermath of what unfolded in the OT. So, and that would actually go along with the canon where we've seen, in Bloodline references and in other books, references to Leia's training with Luke at one point before Kylo was born. So I think that would be just a fantastic way to tie everything in together.
Yes.
But definitely, I love that from the get-go, we're getting something new in the ST, but it also kind of harkens back to the OT, but it doesn't feel like a carbon copy. So I really from the beginning, I love that they opened with that.
I think even if I just see Leia training her, that's going to be super cool. And again, I like to see her running. It's nice. It's fun.
I've seen people bring this up on social media, and I absolutely agree. One thing that they've noticed is Rey, again, even though she's with the Resistance, she's on her own again. It's just kind of like, you could argue that they're all in their base, yet she's out in the forest training alone, and that's, again, even though she's surrounded by all these people, she's still alone.
Yeah.
And you also, you hear that in the words, everyone thinks they know me, but they don't. And again, we'll talk about that later. I really like the fact. Yes, I really like the fact that the empathy, really, really hammering down on this in the trailer. And also, I think she, this kind of ties in with the D23 teaser. She looks aggressive, I think, in all of these scenes. So I'm hoping we'll get that dark side, power struggle. Please, JJ, give us that.
Yeah. Mary, what you just said ties in with what we had talked about regarding Rey. Even though she wants to belong, and she obviously has found a sort of home in the Resistance, she doesn't fully belong there. And there's something that sets her apart from everything else, and it's the fact that she's, the Force user. So even though she's with them, she's apart from them, and she's off doing her own things and her training and whatever. So there's that feeling of being an outsider, even among among friends, and the true sense of belonging really goes along with the Force plot part of it, which is with Kylo. So I really like that. You can see her kind of being lonely in a way, even though now she's found her group of people.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that ties into Finn's speech, like, because he's talking about the Force and how it brought them together. So I'm wondering if maybe like Rose or Poe or somebody are a bit confused by Rey's behavior, and Finn is sticking up for her and explaining that.
That's very interesting. But I want to talk more about Finn's line there, but before we do, let's go back to the breakdown of the trailer. The next scene that we see of Rey is actually very interesting because it's reminiscent of her scavenging in the wreckage, in the beginning, the opening scenes of TFA when we're first introduced to her. It's like almost like she's come back full circle. She's back at it again, kind of climbing, jumping, and being super athletic. And I just really love that visual because, again, it feels very familiar, but it's new.
I love it.
It's a Death Star.
Yeah.
Sorry, Denise.
I was going to say, I love it because for me, it's the first scene that I see her that she looks badass. I know she's done badass things before, but she scrunches her nose and she's kind of cute. Or she does her quote unquote aggressive stuff, and she jumps there, she looks up, and it's somebody that's sure of herself, and she looks like a badass. And I'm really glad to see it. Whereas before she had that cute crunchy face, which is cute too. But I actually like this more. For me, I'm really happy, and I want to see more of that in Rey.
She looks very powerful. She looks very confident. I really liked it. I think it's a great way to kind of reintroduce us to Rey, and for us to basically comparing with how she was before by having those themes and kind of visual things that are tying in together with the beginning of the trilogy, but we see how much she's changed and how she's grown into her role of hero. So I thought that was very effective storytelling in those opening shots.
And it's good to go back there and see her scavenging as well. In these things that you're talking about, her being lonely, I think she's still with them, right? She's with them later in the C-3PO, but it's more about being... It's this psychological thing, but I think her friendship with Finn is gonna go on strong, and there is something beautiful between them that's gonna be there.
Yeah, I think the fact is that she has found warmth and she has found a purpose in the Resistance, but she's always going to be set apart by the fact that she's the Force user that's wielding this lightsaber and responsible with all this power, and that's something that nobody else can really understand there, except for Kylo, and to some extent Leia, and that's what we want to know more about later. Does Leia really know? Can Leia really train Rey? And I think that they're building up her story so that can be possible, but still she's the Force user and she's among the Resistance. She's not going to find anybody there who's going to be her equal, and I think that's established from those opening shots too, and her dialogue. All right, so anything else to say about Rey before we move on?
She looks good.
She looks good.
I like her.
She looks gorgeous. Okay, so moving on, then the trailer cuts to the Resistance, and there's a lot going on.
Lando!
Yeah, Lando is there. I actually had to look at a breakdown of this. And by the way, I recommend the one by IGN, and we'll share a link in the video description, because they actually went scene by scene, and that's how I found out that Lando was even there in that moment, because I had missed it.
We can see him. Come on.
I think I was just looking for the Reylo too much. I miss Lando. But yeah, Lando's there. Rose is there, and if you look at the stills from that scene, we also get a chance to look at Dominic Monaghan's character.
I'm really happy that we've got the first glimpse of Dominic Monaghan's character in the trailer. I really, I love him from Lord of the Rings. That's definitely going to mention that, but I'm really, really wondering about his character. I mean, it was ages ago. There was a leak that he might... I think it was a leak. I can't remember, but there was something floating around about him possibly kidnapping Hux. I really hope he's kind of like a mean member of the Resistance, because I think Dominic Monaghan will be amazing at that. But I just think he'd be a great character to like maybe show Rey that the Resistance isn't all it's cracked up to be. I know we've mentioned that a few times, but yeah, that's what I'd like.
But I don't think she needs to learn that. I think her past is different. I don't think the Resistance needs to be made look bad for her to know that her past is different, you know?
True.
So...
Yeah. I don't know, it's really just curious about him.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be a small character, unfortunately.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. But he looks very...
that.
Okay, he looks very good, I'm gonna say it. And yeah. And there's that ship. Did you talk about the ship falling or trying to land that looks like the Tantive IV? Did you see it?
Yeah, coming out of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely that ship.
It's so awesome because it connects with all the trilogies, and I was emotional when I saw it. Actually, I know I'm not the person who cries. I look at it and I'm stoic. But deep inside, I was like, yes, I love that ship. So yeah.
Speaking of people looking good, then we have Poe. And
oh yeah,
he looks amazing.
Oh my god, he does. Oh my god, even on that Spark of Resistance cover novel, I think, I'm just like looking at him and thinking, oh my god, Poe looks gorgeous. Oscar Isaac, damn.
I think so too. Yeah.
He's always looked good, but now he looks extra good. I don't know what it is, but he looks. He
looks extra good. That pilot suit in the TFA, no, that didn't do him any favors.
In TFA he didn't look good. I mean, of course he's gonna look good because it's Oscar Isaac, but that orange thing, blah. But now with that little, I don't know what they did to him. It's like he's sparkling.
Yeah.
I keep saying this, and I'm gonna say it again. He looks like Nathan Drake. He does look like a hero. So I'm wondering whether he's gonna do something. I mean, he was supposed to die in The Force Awakens, so I'm wondering if his heroic clothing maybe foreshadows that. I don't know how I feel about that, but
because he had the line, we have allies, whatever. I forgot what he said.
Well, he had one about leadership. So and his line was about how we have to lead. So I think Mary, it's possible that he may lead and eventually make a heroic sacrifice. And I'm of the Final Destination Chekhov's gun approach to storytelling, where if he was supposed to die in DFA, he'll eventually die in Episode 9. I'm expecting that. And I think that would be fine if they do it well, and I think they will.
It could be fun. It could be good. It could be emotional. Yeah.
It could be super epic and emotional. We need lots of emotional things pulling at our heartstrings. So I could foresee that happening for Poe. Speaking of people who look good, John Boyega looks good. He got to upgrade his outfit, and he looks
his hair.
Yeah, he looks really good. And they come as a set. Poe and Finn, of course.
They're so cute. But let me just go back to Poe. I can bet. Let's make a bet. I'm pretty sure he survives.
Okay. What do you want to bet?
What do we bet? I don't know. Poor.
Let's
we need to do something like shameful.
No, I have an idea. Why don't we get the viewers to bet something in the comments?
Okay, what are we going to bet? Yeah, let's do it.
What are we going to bet?
Fair enough. So, Mary, are you team Poe dies or are you team Poe lives?
Oh my god, you can't ask me that.
Not that you want it to happen, but what do you think will happen?
I don't. I am of the same opinion of you, Lee. I think because he was supposed to die in The Force Awakens, I think there is a big chance that he might kick the bucket in this one. But at the same time, if there's one character in the sequel trilogy that I want to have a spin-off, it's Poe. Like, my fantasy spin-off is him as the hero and Hux as the villain. And I'm really curious about his relationship to Kerry Russell's character, like Zori Bliss. Like, can we have a spin-off, please? Like a spin-off TV show with them two going around the galaxy? I'd be down with that. But
you don't know if he is.
I don't know. Okay, I am gonna go Team Poe dies.
Yeah.
I'm just from the tradition of Brazilian telenovelas where like an actor's performance can actually intervene on a character's fate. So you can have a character that's really small, and then if suddenly the actor is super good, that role gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And because he's Latin American, I just feel that he made that role. Oscar Isaac saved Poe, so because he's so charismatic. Yeah.
Well, I can see what you mean, but for me, that just makes it all the more likely that they will kill him because it would be such a loss and it would be felt deeply.
Yes.
But at the same time, the story already allowed for him to kick the bucket, like Mary eloquently said. So I think that the likelihood is he will end up making a heroic sacrifice. And then, Finn can take over the mantle of leadership.
And poor Finn is going to be so sad.
He's going to be devastated.
Yeah, it could happen.
While Rose will be secretly placed.
Rose will, comfort him.
Yeah, she's gonna
through the
No
loss.
loss to figure out my man, Poe.
Yeah, okay.
I joke, listeners. I'm joking.
All right, so moving on, the Reylo-tastic scene, part 1. It's Rey
What's the scene?
and Kylo.
the mist water thing?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So
tell me your reaction when you saw that.
Guys, she's in front of a cannon.
Yes.
Yeah.
A cannon on a ball, and I won't say anything anymore about it. And it's water that it means like unconscious feelings, that turbulent water, and mist. It's coded as romantic, and the cannon. Yeah,
it's very interesting because we've talked about how there's an inversion in the Reylo dynamic, right? Where Rey takes on some of the masculine traits and Kylo takes on the feminine traits. If you look at that still of the scene of Rey standing in front of the cannon, that cannon looks phallic as heck. And then you see Kylo coming out of the mist all wet. I mean, come on, the imagery is very obvious, very gorgeous, very, still elegantly done and subtle enough that lots of people aren't even going to notice. But, it's there if you can see it.
You know what? It kind of when I first saw it, when she said those lines, people think they know me, they don't. And then Kylo says, I do. I gasped. I have never gasped at a trailer before. Even when they had that famous hand scene in the TLJ trailer, I still didn't gasp. I was shocked, but it didn't get like a response from me. This did. I was shocked.
Do you know what I loved about it? Like, it's like everything else is like, oh, so epic, and the war and the ships and all this stuff, and then you have Rey delivering this line, and it's like so out of a teen romance. It's like the angsty Rey again taking the more masculine traits, like the angsty bad boy in school is like, nobody knows me, and then Kylo is like, I do, I know you, and I can support you emotionally. It's like, it's so cute. It's so funny. It's kind of adorable. I'm like, guys, get a room already.
Do you know what it reminded of? Even though the two things are completely different, it kind of reminded me of that scene in Vertigo where I forgot their names, but Kim Novak kisses James Stewart, and you have the waves in the background just like crash against the cliffs as they kiss, and it is the hero kissing the villainess at that point. It kind of reminded me of that, like the kind of like imagery behind it, like the waves are crashing and it's like it's going with their emotions and the passion and stuff. It was great.
But waves crashing tends to be romantic, right? And a lot of people have compared him appearing from the mist with the 2005 Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my god, yes!
Yes.
And that's my favorite scene in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, so somebody even, I forgot who, I'm so sorry, but it's on our Twitter, I retweeted it, made a GIF comparing the two scenes. It's very similar, actually. So it's funny because it's not such an iconic movie, I would say, but the scene is pretty similar.
I can point to a much more iconic Pride and Prejudice moment, and that is, in my opinion, I'm sorry, the superior 1995 version where Colin Firth comes out wet. In the lake. He's there swimming in the lake, and Elizabeth sees him.
Yeah.
When he comes out, and that's a way more iconic scene. And it just reminded me of that.
No,
like,
I'm sorry. I gotta argue with you there a little bit. So Pride and Prejudice 2005 is one of my absolute favorite movies. I have it on DVD and I watch it all the time, especially if I'm traveling. And I'm at the airport. And that scene of Mr. Darcy just coming out of the mist and, walking with this, determination and purpose. And he looks so manly and determined, to go get his girl. And she's just like watching him coming out of the mist. And then the swelling, background theme. It's just such an epically gorgeous scene, and it's quintessential romance. And remember that who was it that spilled the beans? That when he auditioned for Kylo Ren, he was made to
Eddie Redmayne
deliver Pride and Prejudice dialogue. Eddie Redmayne, right? So I don't think that's an accident. I don't think that's coincidental. I think that definitely the Reylo arc is intended for a lot of the audience who would have liked also that movie and who are familiar with those cues. And we did a breakdown comparing, Reylo themes and Pride and Prejudice 2005, and we'll link that also in the description. But there's definitely, things that are very similar going on there, and that's not a coincidence, I don't think. So I was really happy to see that.
It's a beautiful shot, right?
It's gorgeous.
Something else that it reminded me, but it's very different. But it's the opposite. Is if Rogue One, when Darth Vader comes in the dark. Mm-hmm. But it's the opposite.
Such an epic. That's actually one of my top Star Wars scenes of all time.
That's a freaking amazing scene. I love
it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But right, everything is black, and then you see his lightsaber. Oh, I love that scene. And he appears. But then you say, but now he's kind of like Darth Vader. No, because it's the opposite. But I like that it reminded me of that as well.
Yeah. Do you know what's also like going back to Kylo's entrance? And I saw like an article on The Guardian in the UK. They were calling Kylo Aqua Ren.
I saw it. This was amazing.
Out of the water, and they pointed out that he's holding the lightsaber like a trident almost. But what you notice is that he's pointing the blade away from Rey. It's not an aggressive stance, It actually reminds me of when I took cooking classes when I was in school. They told us if you have to pass the knife to somebody, you pass it with the hilt first, because you don't want to hurt them. Try to avoid passing the knife, but if you have to do it, you pass hilt first. So you take the blade away from the person. That's what Kylo is doing when he's approaching Rey. So it's very clearly not like threatening, He's approaching her and he just wants to get close to her. He has to talk to her. And the visual language is very nice there.
But while Rey is looking very fierce there and on guard.
Yeah.
Again, subversion of the tropes. Rey always shoots first.
Yeah.
But he lifts the lightsaber a little bit because he always likes to give her a little shot. He likes her to get a look at his lightsaber, so yeah.
He twirls it around a little bit like he likes to do, look at this.
I'm good with a lightsaber, come on.
It's big and powerful. But anyway, aside from that, it's just a great tense moment, and it brings the Reylo to the forefront from the beginning.
I think this is the first time they're going to be physically in each other's presence. Yeah, we see them smash Darth Vader's helmet together or something like that. I think that's a vision, not a vision, but where the Force is bringing them together. But this, I think it's their first physical,
That's interesting, Mary. So you think that scene is a vision, the one of them smashing the thing together?
No, I think they're actually doing it, but I think the Force has put them together. They're not actually physically in the same room with each other, but they're more fighting through the Force, I guess.
Interesting.
But here, I think it's the first time they've been physically together since the supremacy in TLJ.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
Just look at his face. He looks a bit conflicted.
Mm-hmm. And I love how, like you said, Denise, you have that roiling ocean surrounding them, and it's in turmoil. It's the subconscious. I think that is a good example. It's a good symbolism of the conflict that they both have, where they obviously are so drawn to each other, but they have all these conflicting emotions there. So it's a very beautiful visual representation of what's going on internally.
It's awesome. And also, but I forgot again, somebody on Twitter said, what can we make him say that's not going to be spoilery? Let's make him literally say wedding vows. Wedding vow.
I do. That's wonderful. Yeah. And by the way, speaking of people who look good, Adam Driver looks good. Kylo looks awesome. I was worried. You know how people were saying, guys, not that I was worried about this, but people were saying, Kylo Ren's going to be bald by episode 9. Kylo Ren's gonna have a horrible deformity by episode 9, and he's gonna have yellow or red eyes. Kylo Ren is gonna be just a hideous beast by episode 9. Obviously, that did not come to pass. Kylo Ren looks amazing. And what I was worried about was that they might cut his hair or something, because I really like, his Kylo Ren locks. And no, they left him intact. He looks amazing.
Even the scar has healed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not completely healed, but it's very thin. But JJ was the one who made all that beautiful hair. You think JJ would cut his hair? Are you kidding me? No.
Never. Okay, so moving on. Anything else to say, guys, about that Reylo-tastic moment?
Oh my god.
It's awesome.
Who keeps rewatching it over and over?
I do.
Tell us in the comments, people.
So, moving on, then we have this throne, this super, I don't know, edgy, super goth looking stone throne. It reminds me kind of the Iron Throne in a weird way.
It does, but it's a Ralph McQuarrie concept for Return of the Jedi, which is also, again, I love that they're bringing this stuff. And it's very nice. It does remind me a little bit of the Iron Throne. Yeah, the Palpatine that shows, I don't know if it's in this shot, we can see his hood and he moves a little bit. It looks a little bit like mechanical. It reminded me of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars a little bit, which maybe if it has something mechanical, I'm gonna like it if they bring something that's similar to Maul. I think it's cool. Yeah.
Kind of like a zombie Palpatine type deal?
No, if Darth Maul in the Clone Wars he had spider legs. Okay, don't give him spider legs, but it's just kind of mechanic. And when he advances, it looks like he's on some kind of life support thing. There's something mechanical behind him, and his walk is a little mechanical. So maybe he has his part machine, which I think.
So he Darth Vadered himself in a way.
I was thinking more like Darth Maul, which is his half his body has spider legs. By the way, there's a scene where Darth Maul drinks tea, and I'm wondering where it goes. And well, you better not wonder what's because he doesn't have half his body, right? Anyways, but that Palpatine could be this kind of half mechanical, not so much like Vader, more a little bit like Maul, not spider legs, but something different.
Okay. Speaking of Palpatine, let's talk about his line in the trailer, which is very interesting. Long have I waited, and now your coming together is your undoing. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Who's he talking to?
Well, he's saying they're coming together, in case people just some people are coming together. Who's coming together? And but that's good. And well, if the villains say that it's the undoing, it's probably going to be reversed, right? Yeah, so it's great. Exactly. It's a great sign, and he's saying that they're coming together. So it's a very good sign too. And long have I waited. Maybe he's a Reylo too. No, he's an auntie. I don't know.
I'm sure he was shipping them, but it's not going to go the way he thinks.
Yeah,
like Han said.
Yeah, I think he ships them and he thinks it's going to give him power. But it's not going to go the way he thinks.
Yeah, and that makes sense if you think about it thematically too, because it's almost like the Voldemort Harry Potter thing where Voldemort doesn't understand love, so he doesn't get it, and that's how part of why Harry's able to survive. With Palpatine, he might not understand that between Kylo and Rey, there's more than just, the power that they have. And so they won't destroy each other because they share love, and they can find strength in that, and that can actually be their protection. So he doesn't get it, and so he's going to be shocked when it turns out, no, it's not their undoing. It actually helps them both to come together.
I don't think the fact that it might not be the fact that he understands love, but he definitely knows. I think he does understand love in a way, because if he didn't understand it, then I don't think he'd be able to manipulate it, because he definitely manipulated Anakin's love for Padme.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Anakin's twisted version of love where it's trying to save mom through Padme, but rather, like a actual healthy,
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. That's gonna be the subversion, because he twisted Anakin's love for Padme, and I think he if Kylo, I think Kylo is gonna start the movie, selfishly loving Rey, and he's gonna try and prey on that, but then of course character development will kick in. Kylo will realize how much of a selfish person he's being, and he will come to love Rey unconditionally, and that's going to be Palpatine's downfall. And I think
that selfless love, is the basically what you are trying to attain to get to some level of enlightenment, right? So I think that also blends well with the themes that are underlying. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Sorry, I think it's going to be the same with Rey as well, because she was kind of selfish in a way. She wanted Ben Solo to save the Resistance all in one. She didn't really think about Kylo's wishes, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then, when he offered her the galaxy, she turned head and ran, as she should, but I don't think she quite understood. She didn't understand Ben's point of view at all. She just ran away from it. So I think as part of Rey's character development, she's gonna realize that she was wrong in fully wanting Ben Solo at that moment, and that Kylo wasn't ready for it, and she expected too much of him at the time. And again, if they both have this character development, it'll be great. And again, it'll be the cause of Palpatine's downfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think again, we had talked about this before in the psychology episodes, but the idea of Rey needing to accept that Kylo is flawed. He's flawed, he's trying to get better, but he's not the perfect Ben Solo lost boy that she was trying to protect. He is Ben Solo and he is Kylo Ren to an extent. And so for her to be able to accept him, that he's both things at once, and, that's going to be really important for her to reach maturity in her love as well. So I think that's very well said, Mary. It's not just Kylo that needs to learn to not try to, control Rey or be selfish about how he wants her, but Rey also needs to let go of that. So I think that's beautiful, and I think there's plenty of room for that character development to happen in the story as they're telling it now.
I hope so. I think there will be character development, and especially with Palpatine trying to manipulate them and everything. I think we can see lots of awesome stuff, and we see more of that in the end of the trailer, right? Which we're gonna get very soon.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on in the order of which things are occurring, we're going to pick up on the Reylo stuff a little bit later. But we have a whole bunch of ships.
Oh my God, guys, I love it!
I know, that was amazing. It was like, wow. I love how, and I didn't know a lot of these ships just by, glancing at them quickly, because I haven't really, followed Legends and some of the newer, the cartoons. But you guys recognize a lot of those ships, right?
Yeah, there are some from the Resistance, the cartoon, the Rebels, the Ghost is there. If it's not Ghost, it's a similar ship, but it doesn't matter. There's the freighter from The Force Awakens. There's a whole list. Each ship there is a real, quote-unquote, Star Wars ship that has been in some kind, and it makes me so emotional to see them, because it's like when he said we're honoring the past, and it's just such a different JJ from what we saw in The Force Awakens, that it seemed that he had only watched the old trilogy and was making this copy, and now he's honoring the past and thinking a bit more about the lore and everything. And there's a list, a lot of people have compiled the lists and showing which ship is which. I retweeted one guy that had this whole list, but you can find online. I'm not that good to identify all the ships, but it's so beautiful. It makes me emotional.
Yeah, I like how they're throwing in stuff for all the fans, I guess, through this little shot. It's just I think it's a little love nod to the whole fandom, really.
That's
and this. Again, it's a way to honor everything that's been before. There's even stuff from Rogue One. Yes. There's stuff from Legends, it's a little bit of everything in there. And so what do you guys think that means as far as the story itself? Do you think that means we're going to see some cameos, or do you think that's just
No, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think they should bring in Hera Syndulla, in Ghost, or her son. I think they should just keep it as it is. It's a lovely little nod to the fans. They don't need to go overboard with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Conversely, it's a great opportunity for them to do marketing for future projects.
Yes.
To kind of give people a hint of what's to come. So if the ghost is there, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a glimpse of Hera, even if she doesn't have a line or doesn't actually do anything in the story. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good opportunity for them.
Yes, but they need to
Rogue One.
But they need to make her live action, so that's something you could maybe have her voice, but not see her. I know what you're saying, just a glimpse, right? But they have a ship from the Mandalorian there. They have everything. All the ships in Star Wars. All the ships are gonna be. What they can say? All the ships in Star Wars are there.
Even Reylo,
I think it's fan service, but in the good way. Those Easter eggs. This is the kind of stuff that fans love. Maybe you saw it in Rogue One because they did it not as much, right? And how much they loved and tried to do it even better. But I like it that they're doing things that people love, that fans love. I think it's really great.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful too. Okay, moving on, we have C-3PO. And this is the moment that I got a little, like, as close to getting sniffly, where C-3PO, talks about looking at his friends for the last time. What do you guys notice in that scene? Or what, kind of comes to mind when you look at that?
Well, apart from it making me absolutely terrified for C-3PO and think, no, I don't want to lose C-3PO and lose on top of losing Leia, on top of losing Luke, on top of losing Han and all of these. No, I don't want it. But at the same time, I was happy because I predicted that thing who's behind him...
Babu Freak.
Yes, thank you. Was going to have something to do with making his eyes red. And I think this is going to be it. What it is exactly, I'm not too sure. But Denise, you said something like last episode.
Yeah, it lines up with the
languages.
leaks. I'm sorry, it lines up with the leaks, and I don't want to talk about the leaks right now, but it lines up with it. And people who write the leaks and are worried, don't be worried. They know some plot points and stuff, but so it explains, and I actually believe the leaks in terms of the C-3PO. But yeah, what I liked about it is that they're all that's not that they all look very nice. Finn's expression is adorable, and they're all wearing coats, so they're in a cold place. So
yeah, with C-3PO, I just wanted to mention, I think that scene is what precedes him with the red eyes. So I think there's some kind of reprogramming or something going on there. I don't know if that's part of the leaks because I haven't been keeping up with those. But I think that it makes sense that 3PO is, if he's going to end up with red eyes, they did something to his circuitry, right? So it might be something that he can't come back from, or he expects he won't come back from. So that's why he's kind of saying goodbye to everybody. But I just was really moved by the emotional delivery of Anthony Daniels in that line. I think that the acting was just fantastic in that sense, because it really, you get the sense of the importance and the solemnity of the moment, and that he's really saying goodbye. And then, of course, you get the shot of R2 and Chewie. So it's just, wow. Yeah. Like, it kind of hit me in the feels to see that scene. Yeah,
same. I think what's going to happen is he's going to, because it looks like they're near a big, like, ancient computer. So I'm wondering if... I'm wondering if the only... sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm wondering if it has something to do with them finding out about Palpatine's return. And I'm also wondering that the only way they're going to understand it is if C-3PO connects to it and translates it for them. Like, it could be something to do with the Sith as well as Palpatine. And they know that... I think they know that if he connects to it, he won't come back from it. So that's why he's saying goodbye. Yeah, I think he'll know that, and I think it'll be kind of like, well, I need to do this sort of scene. It's the only way.
He's being heroic, so it's cool. And there's a battle droid behind him. Did you guys see it?
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, I got a screenshot of that, and it's from the prequels, correct?
Yes. Which, again, it's, what a difference, JJ. Yay, the prequels exist. And it's a nice little nod, because I guess Babu Freak, he works with droids and stuff. It makes sense that he would have an old battle droid lying around. And I think it's cool to see C-3PO having a little bit of an arc as well. I think it's going to be really nice.
There's something else there that I didn't catch the times I saw it. I just saw the still of it. But Kerry Russell's character is in that scene too.
I just noticed that.
Next to Poe.
Ooh, I wish she'd take her helmet off. I want to see what she looks like, but I think she's going to be this movie's Boba Fett. I'll bet on the good guy's side, so that's why she's not taking it off.
Oh, she shouldn't kiss Poe, like...
Yeah.
Or maybe... Yeah, no. Poe is Finn's, so... No, because Finn is wrong. Whatever. Anyway.
It's complicated. They're working it out.
Yeah, it's very complicated, yeah. Okay, so we're going to stop for now, but we're going to come back with more trailer discussion, also discuss the poster and our general impressions. Leave a comment and let us know what do you think about the trailer so far, and what do you think, does Poe live or does Poe die? What should we bet? And don't forget to like and subscribe, it really makes a difference for us. And remember that you can also connect with us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram and Facebook, and you can listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Thank you very much for listening, and may the Force serve you well.